During a heavy downpour, a lady with critical wounds is stretched out across the hood section of an automobile. At the very same moment, broadcast journalist Anna dashes back toward her flat, feeling deeply troubled, making an effort to come to terms with something she has recently carried out while attempting to discover some peace. While manically tidying her disorderly living area and getting rid of items that are no longer necessary, she becomes conscious of a continuing dental infection creating some irritation. Somewhere inside, she holds the opinion that although each narrative features dual viewpoints, one perspective forever conceals the reality, his viewpoint and hers. Detective Division Chief Jack Harper cohabitates together with his niece Meg and younger sister Zoe. On arrival to his workplace, his associate Priya updates him about a recently identified cadaver, and the pair move straight away toward the incident site. Concurrently, Anna probes the matter across online networking platforms in the course of a dental appointment. She turns down extraction of the affected tooth, selecting merely pain relief medications. Subsequently, she goes back to her job after 12 months of absence and discovers Lex Jones, the person who took up her anchor role. Anna approaches Supervisor Jim and insists upon regaining her former role, suggesting to serve as an on-the-ground correspondent documenting the murder case inside her birthplace of Dahlonega. Jim demonstrates hesitation, yet eventually consents. Looking to gain revenge against Lexi, Anna demands that her competitor's husband Richard get assigned as her camera operator. At the scene of the event, Jack together with Priya examine the individual who was stabbed, noticing that the perpetrator engraved a figure showing dual faces into the female's fingernails. Jack directs the personnel to avoid updating the spouse of the deceased just yet, assuming accountability for delivering the information directly. He commands that the cellular device belonging to the sufferer be delivered straight to him in case it gets discovered. Priya records impressions of feet present around the area, inferring that boot markings originate from the offender and bear prints from the victim, but Jack advises against leaping to assumptions. Anna shows up at the area together with Richard and sees Jack getting flooded by inquiries coming from media representatives. He announces to journalists that the authorities got an unknown tip-off concerning the dead body inside the timberland, and that both personal identification as well as cause of passing stay below examination. As he gets ready to go away, Anna blocks him and asks if he acknowledges the victim. Caught off guard, Jack gazes upon her temporarily and silently walks away. Priya considers this odd, but Jack overlooks the matter, delegates a different task to her, and goes off. Anna then escorts Richard to a hotel dining area and starts behaving in a flirtatious way toward him. Outside, Jack monitors them from a significant distance. He receives a phone call coming from Officer Barnes confirming the victim is Rachel Hopkins, married to Clyde. Disconnecting the line, he picks up on Anna together with Richard walking into the hotel and makes a decision to pursue them. He talks the front desk person into sharing their accommodation number. Out in the passage, he perceives sounds of closeness, bangs hard on the doorway, and proceeds to depart. Bothered by the noise, Anna pushes the door open, discovers nobody, and becomes worried getting ready to exit. Ahead of departing, she tells Richard that Detective Jack is actually her spouse. On the outside, Jack phones Priya and commands her to look into the background of the cameraman. In the interim, Anna goes to her parent Alice's home. During entry, she lets a set of keys slip close to the entrance. She locates her mom sleeping inside a chair. Alice becomes conscious, overjoyed, and embraces her daughter. Not long after, Jack likewise turns up and reviews Alice's prescription drugs. He takes Anna aside, questions her concerning the disruption at the scene of the crime, and advises her to not become engaged with the inquiry. Understanding the deceased was killed, Anna pushes him to share the facts. Jack finally reveals that the lady stabbed to death is Rachel Hopkins, an earlier dear friend of Anna's, and requires absolute discretion. She gives her word not to inform a soul. During their exchange, Alice asks Jack at what time he got there, despite seeing him only some minutes before. Baffled, Anna guides him outdoors, where he discloses that Alice was discovered walking around unclothed on the thoroughfares at 2 o'clock in the early morning. Her mental ability is worsening, yet she turns down medical support. He reveals that Anna vanished for a complete calendar year, over which interval Jack dropped his investigator occupation in Atlanta while hunting for her, the explanation driving his relocation to Dahlonega. The two argue, Plus, Anna rushes back indoors in a rage. Later, Jack proceeds toward the morgue and encounters Priya together with Dr. Turner. The forensic professional clarifies that Rachel got stabbed a total of 40 times via a small knife. Her fingernails got trimmed underneath the skin layer, and there exist no signs of self-defense, indicating she had familiarity with the attacker. Moreover, recently deposited seminal fluid was located at the site. The physician demands genetic material from each individual who visited the incident. Location, including the detectives, but Jack declines to submit his sample currently and exits along with his partner. Simultaneously, Anna discovers a container carrying youth relics, including one video recording. One particular recording displays her 16th birthday party together with buddies Helen, Rachel, Zoe, along with Catherine. On that footage, they proceed into the forest, but the taping ends without notice started by Anna absent any reason. Within the identical box, she comes across her previous friendship wristband. At the same time, Dr. Turner uncovers an identical band placed within Rachel's mouth area. Jack plus Priya travel to Clyde, the husband of Rachel. They regard it unusual that he didn't report his spouse's absence. No one answers the door, but someone watches from the inside. Jack chooses to come back the next day. When getting back to the residence, he discovers his sibling Zoe monitoring the news broadcast. To his surprise, Anna is transmitting live at the scene, breaking the privacy deal and disclosing the deceased person is Rachel Hopkins. While observing the premises throughout recording, Anna has a memory of the evening prior to the murder. Rachel was positioned inside Jack's automobile, involved in a romantic instant with him, as Anna observed covertly. Back to the present, Jack proceeds toward her bedroom, pushes the entry open, and they fight. He tells her not to interfere with the investigation and states he'll interrogate Clyde the next daylight period. The subsequent early morning, Dr. Turner displays the bracelet retrieved from inside the victim's oral cavity. Jack recognizes it straight away. Zoe owns a matching one. The physician requests genetic material once more, but Jack says no and guides Priya to Clyde's house. Throughout questioning, Clyde declares he had knowledge of Rachel's unfaithfulness. Owing to a cardiac condition, he permitted her to go after different lovers as long as it did not occur at home or inside the township. He professes not to be aware of who she encountered and offers security camera footage proving he stayed at the residence walking the animal at the moment of the homicide. Inside that footage, Priya spots Rachel placing a telephone call before going out. Clyde exposes her cellular device stays functioning and has been sounding repeatedly. Jack asks him to quit so the battery does not exhaust, making monitoring harder. Clyde imagines the last individual she got in touch with is the killer, and Jack considers it peculiar that he knows the precise amount of stab wounds, but learns Anna already talked to him hours before. Prior to the officers departing, Clyde suggests that Helen Wong, a companion of Rachel and principal at St. Hilary's School, might have knowledge about the person Rachel was encountered. At the same time, Anna gets to St. Hilary's and contacts Jim to inform him on the conversation with Clyde. Elsewhere, Jim and Lexi watch Anna's piece, and Lexi is astonished to learn her very own husband Richard is operating as Anna's videographer. Elsewhere, Jack makes an attempt to phone Helen, but she fails to answer since she's busy on a call with Clyde. Anxious about what Clyde could potentially share, Helen convinces him to keep dialing to use up the phone's battery. He initiates another call, and instantly Rachel's mobile starts ringing from its hidden spot underneath Jack's vehicle seat. Becoming aware of this, Jack quiets and conceals the gadget before Priya draws near. Anna moves along St. Hilary's passageways, reflecting on earlier times. Her mother Alice, who worked like a house cleaner at the home of Rachel, had secured an academic grant for her daughter and requested Rachel to become friendly with Anna. Yet from the very start, it was obvious that Rachel, Zoe, and Helen never authentically liked Anna. Traveling, Jack shows reluctance to encounter Helen, but Priya pushes for the interrogation. She believes Rachel's lover is the murderer, reasoning he stabbed her 40 times and pulled out her nails to erase DNA traces. Below strain, Jack admits his hesitancy comes from Helen being too connected to his relative Zoe and guarantees the principal will get in touch if she discovers anything. He additionally discloses that Anna is his spouse. At St. Hilary's, Anna faces Helen Wong, asking for the name of the person Rachel was seeing on the night of the murder. Helen declines to speak, which makes Anna doubtful that she's keeping vital details from law enforcement. The discussion turns dangerous. Helen indicates a 20-year-old secret could be exposed, and Anna responds that the sole person who knew that secret is now dead. At headquarters, Jack steers suspicion toward Clyde. He orders Priya to check if the widower keeps calling Rachel's device, which could demonstrate an effort to use up the battery to block police tracking. While Priya handles this, Jack covertly revokes the search warrant for Rachel's mobile. In hiding, he attempts to unlock the victim's phone using various access codes, but fails. Priya observes her colleague's questionable conduct and reminds him Dr. Turner still holds onto the DNA specimens. Jack goes back home to locate his niece Meg unattended and leverages Zoe's absence to quietly obtain a genetic sample from the child. Outside, Anna observes the moment weeping quietly. The view activates a recollection of when she and Jack made plans to purchase a home and she revealed her pregnancy to him. Within that identical memory, her sister-in-law Zoe shows up displaying her typical antagonism, making obvious she by no means accepted Anna into the household. Coming back to the current time, Priya verifies that Clyde continues phoning Rachel's device compulsively. In the meantime, Anna visits Alice. Her parent makes an attempt to talk about her own wellness, yet an emotional obstacle stands separating them. Anna admits that her year-long disappearance happened right following the tragic loss of her baby. Grief made her forsake her career, marriage, and mother. Anna pushes to bring Alice to a physician, but she declines. Soon after, Supervisor Jim tells Anna that Lexi has unexpectedly vanished and requires that she take over the nighttime broadcast. In spite of the frictions, Alice seems comforted to finally have her daughter returned. Analyzing the evidence, Priya compares the boot print found at the site with the database. At the same moment, Zoe tells Meg to store Jack's shoes. The pattern verifies the killer's footprint perfectly matches the bottom of Jack's boots. In the meantime, Jack gets to the morgue and hands over his genetic material. He asks permission to go into the autopsy space, claiming he misplaced his wedding band there. When the helper is occupied, he approaches Rachel's corpse, forces her eye open, and uses the retina to access the phone. Once inside, he removes the whole chat background between them. Checking additional discussions, he uncovers that Rachel and Helen were blackmailing someone marked exclusively by the character C. He additionally discovers Helen had knowledge of his relationship with Rachel since their academic years. Simultaneously, Helen examines old photos of herself and Rachel, then contacts headquarters requesting to talk straight with a senior officer. Prior to broadcasting live from the anchor desk, monitoring the police coverage connecting the deceased to St. Hilary's exclusive school and pointing out Helen's refusal to make comments, Anna experiences a high school recall. Inside the lunchroom, Helen, Zoe, and Rachel mock Catherine, an isolated student. Feeling pity, Anna invites Catherine to come sit at their table. Rachel stands to get beverages and provides a cup to the new girl. After consuming a mouthful, Catherine understands Rachel altered her beverage in an embarrassing manner. Significantly shamed and injured, Catherine escapes the lunchroom in hopelessness. In the current time, Jack keeps analyzing messages on the phone and discovers a recording of Rachel and Helen humiliating Clyde. The probe gets interrupted by Maggie, who asks him to dinner. At the table, Zoe challenges Jack regarding the death of Rachel. She straightaway believes he was involved and demands to understand why he covertly gathered DNA from Meg. Feeling trapped, Jack confesses that he encountered Rachel in the forest area inside his vehicle during the evening of the homicide, but insists he departed and has no idea of what occurred after that. At the morgue, Priya presents her own and Clyde's DNA specimens. The helper brings up Jack's earlier trip and his justification about hunting for a wedding band. This information triggers an alert for the detective, knowing that her partner does not wear one. At the TV station, Anna is ready to go live when Lexi out of the blue comes back, asserting she addressed her household problem. Supervisor Jim right away returns the anchor desk to Lexi, embarrassing Anna. Meanwhile, traveling to Helen Wong's residence, Jack gets a call from Priya. She tells him that Clyde got in touch with both Rachel and Helen during the evening of the killing, suggesting the victim's handset includes compromising secrets relevant to each of them. Jack tells her to concentrate on them as the leading suspects. She questions him about the boot print evidence and his unusual actions at the morgue, but Jack disregards her claims using weak reasons, and ends the call. From this point forward, Priya adds her own partner to her list of potential suspects. During surveillance operations, Priya sees Clyde tossing a bag into the garbage. Gathering it afterward, she uncovers a mask employed for sexual roleplay. At the same time, Jack gets to St. Hilary's searching for Helen. An employee verifies the principal's presence inside, but refuses to unlock the entrance. Jack uses force to get in, but finds the office secured. Changing attention, he covers his own footwear in plastic and goes back to the exact area where Rachel passed away. Assessing the footprints in the ground, he recalls their final meeting. Rachel made fun of him, causing his anger. He held her by the throat, and Rachel cut his face before issues worsened. Moving through the forest from the murder site, Jack reaches a neighboring burial ground. Guard startles him pointing a weapon, but soon identifies him and drops his firearm. Discovering the cemetery features security recording devices, Jack requests to examine the footage from the night of the murder. Within the images, he identifies a covered figure positioned directly before his dead daughter Charlotte's grave. Jack instantly concludes the figure in the video is Anna, determining his spouse was present and saw the infidelity. Ahead of departing, he stops at the monument and takes a peaceful moment. Meanwhile, Anna recalls an evening when Charlotte had a fever. Jack minimized the circumstance, talking her into leaving the home with him and abandoning the child under Alice's supervision. In current time, she's sitting in her hotel space when Richard shows up expressing regret for his wife's behavior. Mentally troubled because of the probe's advancement and her personal life, Anna thinks out loud, asking if making errors can be excused when individual life looks so unfair. Elsewhere, Jack recovers Alice, located walking unclothed through the roads yet again. Accompanying her home, she opens up about how draining it is to lose your own mental capacity and little by little vanish, but still encourages Jack to battle for Anna if his feelings are true. He pulls together bravery to send a text to his spouse, but is entirely disregarded and ultimately falls asleep worn out in his seat. The following morning, the phone rings. It's Priya carrying the information that Helen has been discovered deceased. Jack rushes to the incident area and discovers Anna already present. She welcomes him, showing a peaceful, mysterious smile, just like she'd anticipated this occurrence. Shortly thereafter, Anna reports the occurrence, declaring Helen as the second victim in Dahlonega, openly increasing the possibility of a multiple murderer. At the same moment, Priya tells Jack regarding Anna's story. She asserts having gotten a message from Helen at her hotel asking for a meeting at St. Hilary's, but discovered the principal already dead on her arrival. Jack commands her to confirm with the hotel to verify the account. He afterward faces Anna, who holds to her version, claiming she alerted the police 45 minutes after the discovery and doesn't understand why the office entrance was unlocked. Looking into the hotel, Priya finds a mismatch in the schedule. Helen's message was transmitted following midnight, but Anna says she only received it in the early hours. Priya verifies that Rachel and Helen were both murdered using a bladed tool, and each had friendship bracelets put within their mouths. The total absence of fingerprints across two scenes points to a knowledgeable and thorough perpetrator. Looking into Richard's past, Priya finds the camera operator was accused of assault 36 months ago for fracturing a lady's mouth area. Jack tries to notify Anna, but she departs ahead of listening to him completely, making the detective face Richard directly and command him to stay away from her. In the meantime, Anna meets with Dahlonega's mayor and suggests a broadcast public discussion. The politician rejects the concept, fearing worry, but gives in after Anna suggests concern about the killer might ruin his election prospects. At the morgue, fresh information comes up. Helen's eyes were shut using metal clips, and the phrase liar was engraved across her forehead. Although Dr. Turner hasn't verified usage of the identical blade, the matching bracelets indicate the same offender. Subsequently, Jack searches through Zoe's items and locates a bracelet matching those at the murder sites. When challenged, Zoe responds with anger and reveals Anna personally made the accessories for each of them in their younger years. She additionally shares that Rachel and Helen were having a romantic relationship, and that Rachel had romantic feelings for Anna throughout their school days. The exchange gets interrupted by Officer Barnes, calling Jack to the mayor's press gathering. Anna gets an alert from the sheriff that Alice was discovered walking unclothed the previous nighttime. She rushes home, but cannot find her mother straight away. Looking in the mirror, Anna recalls her 16th birthday. Rachel gave her a bikini and videotaped her trying it on. Zoe, Helen, and Catherine entered afterwards, and Rachel feigned apologizing to Catherine but then grabbed a camera, photographing Anna and Catherine in a susceptible pose. In the present, Alice comes back and requests that Anna remain near her. She declines, but guarantees to transport her to Atlanta as soon as the matter finishes. At the police station, Priya attempts to check Rachel's phone monitoring and finds Jack canceled the request. That night, the press conference kicks off at City Hall led by Anna. She calls Jack to address the crowd, but the scenario goes out of hand as citizens need replies and challenge the investigators' capability to defend the community. Zoe attempts to support him but does not succeed, and Jack leaves the location. Anna takes back the microphone. Rather than relaxing the audience, she directs them against Zoe, implying her participation in the offenses. A broad battle erupts between the residents while Anna watches offstage wearing a satisfied expression, aware she has obtained powerful pictures for her report. At the station, Jim watches the broadcast and chooses to go to Dahlonega to address the tale personally. At the event, Zoe confronts Anna, asking if the offenses connect to a 2-decade-old secret. Anna warns her to let it go and departs. Inside her car, she plans a meeting with Jack and thanks Richard for working together with her. At the morgue, Priya discovers Jack's submitted DNA specimen was purposely polluted with biological material from 2 separate people. Suspicious, she examines an old yearbook from St. Hilary's and locates a photo of Anna, Rachel, Zoe, plus Helen wearing the same friendship bracelets found near the victims. Shortly after, Anna and Jack meet close to a waterfall. He confirms she saw him with Rachel on the criminal night, and both promise they are not the murderer. The discussion moves toward grief for their daughter Charlotte. Anna admits she left the marriage because Jack tried to reassure her by saying everything would become fine, which made her feel he wanted to erase their infant's life and memory. Following exchanges of apologies and being open, they kiss. The subsequent morning, throughout a group gathering, Priya reveals the friendship bracelet link. She believes that old bitterness motivated the killings and points at Anna as the main suspect, highlighting the shortage of defensive wounds on the victims and the journalist's rapid job growth after the crimes. Officer Barnes suspects Zoe, and Jack rejects both ideas, insisting on Clyde's responsibility. Barnes allows Priya to interrogate Anna. Frustrated, Jack pressures Clyde, accusing him of killing the ladies to stop private clips from leaking, stating the blackmail messages referred to him. Clyde denies it and discloses he knows about Jack and Rachel's affair, threatening him. Meanwhile, Priya questions Anna at Alice's home, but fails to obtain answers that indirectly connect her to the killings. Before departing, the detective alerts her about Alice's quickly worsening memory. At the station, Jack pursues a new clue. A community resident stated driving Rachel to apartment 11 of a building in Atlanta for a gathering from where she left having a beaten face. Jack asks for the building's occupant list from the previous 12 months. While waiting, Zoe enters the workplace afraid, convinced she is the next target. She starts alluding to what Rachel and Helen did to Anna at her 16th birthday event, but the talk is interrupted when the tenant list shows up. Jack spots 2 familiar names, Lexi and Richard. He leaves behind his sister and goes to a drinking place to confront Richard, accusing him of hitting Rachel. Richard denies it, stating he was away from the country at that time, and explains his earlier assault charge as protecting Lexi from a stalker. However, when he brings up his romantic involvement with Anna, Jack's rage bursts into a physical fight at the establishment. Hearing about the occurrence, Anna blackmails Richard, threatening to reveal their relationship to Lexi if he reports Jack to the authorities. At the same moment, Priya moves the investigation ahead by interrogating Zoe. During the discussion and yearbook review, the detective uncovers a 5th participant of the former friend group, Catherine. That same night, Zoe returns to her home terrified. She drinks to settle herself and decides to take a bath. While she attempts to loosen up, an intruder goes into the home silently and attacks her without warning. Priya extends her investigation into Catherine's background and uncovers she had a sister named Andrea, now dead. She then discovers from telephone records that Rachel contacted 3 individuals before passing: Clyde, Helen, and Jack. Meanwhile, Anna and Richard are told their hotel booking was canceled by the TV company. With zero alternatives, he proposes they stay the night at his father-in-law's lake property. During the trip, Anna recalls the upsetting outcome of her 16th birthday. That night, Rachel, Zoe, and Helen transported Anna and Catherine to the forest. Anna was recording, trying to comfort Catherine, who appeared clearly uncomfortable. Without notification, Rachel had invited a number of boys. They forced the two females to consume alcohol, and when they were drunk, the men compensated Rachel. The outcome was a disturbing scenario where Catherine turned into a target while Rachel, Helen, and Zoe simply watched. In the present, Jack goes back to the house looking for Zoe. Pushing the restroom entrance open, he's crushed to find his sibling killed inside the bath. At the exact moment, Anna and Richard show up at the lake property. He mentions Lexi's existing presence, creating unease for Anna, but he talks her into coming inside. Left alone momentarily, Anna examines family pictures and comes across Andrea's death notice. Inspecting the image, she sees Catherine beside the dead relative. Additional photos demonstrate Catherine's physical change across the period, weight loss, and visual adjustments. Ultimately, a wedding image of Richard and Lexi reveals the natural tone of Lexi's youthful hair, and the actuality becomes obvious. Lexi is really Catherine. A quick flashback displays Catherine's past. During preparations for a family watercraft excursion, Andrea mistreated her sister, ridiculing her look and providing orders. Hurt and furious, Catherine drained Andrea's asthma inhaler ahead of leaving. In the central part of the lake, Andrea had an episode, could not use her medication, and passed away. Going back to the current time, Anna reaches Jack and gives him her position. Upset, he reveals Zoe has been murdered. Anna determines Lexi is the multiple murderer and Richard functions as her helper. Nonetheless, Richard catches the discussion and realizes Anna has found the reality. Sensing upcoming danger, Jack speeds to help his spouse but gets stopped at the exit by Priya. Weapon drawn, the detective demands explanations for every one of the collected secrets and asks for backup. Having no time and zero alternatives, Jack pushes her, knocks her to the ground, and runs away to the lake property. Anna ends up cornered by Richard, who threatens her. She removes the firearm hidden inside her handbag, making him pull back to another space. Even after depleting ammunition, Anna handles to secure him within. Right when she seems in charge, Lexi attacks her using a flower container. Meanwhile, support shows up at Jack's home and rescues Priya. She instantly heads to the lake property while notifying Officer Barnes about the genuine inspiration for the offenses. In earlier times, Lexi unintentionally admitted to Rachel that she had eliminated her sibling Andrea. Using this piece of information, Rachel and Helen started blackmailing the contact C, Catherine herself. At the lake property, Anna and Catherine participate in a fierce battle, each accusing the other about the injury and abandonment in the woods on that evening. During the struggle, Lexi grabs Anna's empty weapon and aims it at her. Exactly as she's ready to squeeze the trigger, Jack bursts inside but cannot get to them in time. Abruptly, a fatal shot comes from beyond the building, hitting Catherine and eliminating her immediately. The shot was fired by Priya, who had just arrived. With police assuming control of the location, Anna breaks down crying with Jack outside. She describes the woodland attack and admits she never informed anyone because she experienced guilt for pretending Catherine's pain never took place. Jack makes an effort to ease her. Inside the building, Priya discovers Rachel's extracted nails and the identical small blade employed in all the homicides. Richard gets arrested as an accessory, but continues insisting neither him nor Catherine carried out the crimes. Subsequently, Priya approaches Jack and admits her regret regarding shooting Lexi, learning that the reporter's weapon was empty. Jack does whatever he can to relieve his partner's guilt. 365 days later, life progresses. Anna has resumed her place as primary anchor and is expecting Jack's child. He, in turn, provides care for his niece Meg. On a peaceful day, they pick up Anna from the station, stop at Charlotte's burial site, and proceed to Alice's residence to spend time collectively as a family. Subsequently, by herself inside her space, Anna reads a note authored by Alice, and the reality emerges. The actual serial murderer is Alice. Going back to past events, following baby Charlotte's passing, identified as sudden infant death condition, and Anna's extended disappearance, Alice was eaten up by shame and suffering. Alone, She spent her days viewing old recordings of her child. Watching the full tape of Anna's 16th birthday, Alice noticed the bunch of males approach the ladies in the forest. Anna lowered her recording device and tried to step in to protect Catherine. In response, the males turned aggressively against her. Catherine took the opportunity to flee while Rachel, Helen, and Zoe just watched and laughed at the cruelty. As time moved on, Alice found out about Jack's romantic relationship with Rachel. On the anniversary of Charlotte's death, when Alice went to the cemetery and caught Anna covertly observing Jack's close meeting with Rachel, the mother's anguish transformed into hate. Plus, she decided to arrange a merciless payback for everything they had done to her daughter. To put her strategy into action, Alice cut Rachel's tire and anticipated her arrival in the forest. To build the ideal, unchallengeable excuse, she removed her personal garments and pretended a severe mental episode, walking unclothed through the streets at daybreak. The performance was so believable that the authorities never considered the bare footprints at the incident site could belong to a seemingly crazy elderly lady. As an ex-housekeeper, Alice understood how to navigate without detection and still held duplicates of the keys to Catherine's lake property, Zoe's house, and St. Hilary's Academy. The approach repeated itself. On the nighttime Helen was murdered, Alice was once more discovered walking unclothed through the roads as an alibi. The scheme for Catherine, however, was distinct. When she took over Anna's position at the network, Alice identified her right away but had no desire to kill her. The purpose was to frame her and force her to suffer incarceration as discipline for abandoning Anna in the woodland. To accomplish this, Alice thoroughly arranged proof. She kept Rachel's extracted nails and the murder weapon at the lake property. Moreover, it was Alice personally who used a telephone at Lexi's residence to cancel Anna's hotel booking, pushing the pair to go to the lake property and making sure Jack would travel there to attempt to rescue his spouse. The sole aspect she could not anticipate was Priya's unexpected arrival, which resulted in Catherine's death via gunfire. In the letter, Alice coolly, deliberately, and frighteningly defends every single one of her actions. Eliminating Rachel forced Anna to return to the town. Eliminating Helen created space for her daughter to restore her career and turn into a neighborhood hero. Eliminating Zoe removed the last obstacle, returning to Anna a spouse and the household she had lost. Alice ends the admission with a final appeal that Anna cherished with the identical power and depth, reminding her that a mother's love and rage never go away. Wrapping up the note, Anna looks out the window and observes Alice smiling, playing together with Jack and Meg. Touched, she realizes that all the cruelties were motivated by a maternal love that was constant, frightening, and unstoppable. This brings us to the conclusion of His and Hers, a thriller mystery series from 2006.